What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our EDL Season 3 Week 5 video. We just had a pretty good win last week against Cats and the Downtown on Pheasants, so we are sitting now at 3-1 plus 8, sitting at third, which is a really good spot to be in the early stages of the season. We're above the main race at the moment, but there's still a lot of splitting to do, but we're in a good spot. We've got a good differential, we've got a good record, so hopefully we can keep that up. This week we are taking on the Dublin Drifloons and coach Scamp, roughly the same level as Cats around this season, but Scamp has been one of the best and most consistent players in EDL, so I do expect a redemption arc from him. Hopefully that doesn't start this week. He hasn't been doing too flash in comparison to seasons 1 and 2, but so same with that same goes with a few other players such as Hazel and Cuban Natsu. Hazel, Cuban, and Natsu. So let's see how we go. So let's just take a look at his team. He has a Latios, which is his Z user. I've been over Latios quite a number of times recently, but fantastic special attack stat, fantastic speed stat. It's really powerful, really hard hitting. Dragon and Psychic is a great offensive dual typing, and it also gets a ridiculous amount of coverage if it comes. It's probably going to be Expert Belt. I would assume an Expert Belt set. I've done a few mock battles, and Expert Belt Latios has come most of them and put in quite a lot of work. He's got a Klefki, which is a Prankster Steel Fairy type, which typically sets up dual screens and Thunderwaves shit. That thing is often really problematic, but I reckon we've got stuff to take it down. He's got an Empoleon, which is another steel type. It's his primary defogger and stealth rocker, that's mainly what it does. It doesn't get recovery, which I think it should. If it did, it'd be much better, but doesn't get recovery, but it is exceptionally bulky. It doesn't have too many weaknesses, and it's pretty hard to take down. He's got a Galarian Wheezing, which is a poison fairy type, sets up T-Spikes, defogs. I think it gets defog as well. Really bulky, can do a number of different things. It also gets two abilities called Levitate, which make it immune to ground, which removes one of its weaknesses, and Neutralizing Gas, which I think it nullifies the abilities of other Pokemon. I think that's what it does. It's kind of like Mold Breaker, but a bit better, I think. I'm really not sure. Sorry. He's got a Frosmoth, which I don't know too much about, considering it's one of the newer Pokemon, as well as Weezing. But it's an Ice Bug type, typically runs Quiver Dance, Dual Stab, Giga Drain. That's kind of its main thing. But it can also do a few other things like Stun Spore for paralysis, but I'm not quite sure what that is. He's got an Absol, which is a mixed, typically mixed Dark Attacker, but often run physical. It can be used for Scarf with its base 75 speed, which isn't too great, but it's not too bad either. It gets quite a fair bit of coverage as well, including stuff like Knockoff, Priority Sucker Punch, stuff like that. He's got a Mega Lopunny, which got a massive boost with DLC, giving it close combat and U-turn, so a reliable fighting type move that doesn't risk recoil, as well as momentum that isn't Baton Pass. It's exceptionally fast, hits exceptionally hard. Normal fighting with Scrappy is the best dual offensive typing, or one of the best dual offensive typings in the game. At least I think so. It also gets some decent coverage as well, so, typically elemental punches, but it's definitely a threat and definitely something worth watching out for. He's got a Galarian Dimanatan, while we're speaking of threats, which is a really powerful ice type. Hits exceptionally hard, pretty fast with base 95 speed, but typically run with the Scarf. It also gets Guerrilla Tactics, which is kind of like Zen Mode. But Zen Mode Dimanatan has the same speed as Mega Lopunny, and I think it hits a little bit harder as well. That one's an Ice Fire type, and it's very scary. But this one on its own is pretty scary as well. It gets fire coverage with Flare Blitz and Fire Punch, ground coverage with Earthquake, rock coverage. I think it gets steel coverage as well. U-turn for momentum, and typical ice stab. He's got a Alolan Marowak, which is another powerful fire and ghost type. Doesn't look like it hits that hard, but with its ability Rock Head, it increases it means that its recoil moves don't do recoil damage, so he won't take any recoil damage from Flare Blitz or anything like that. I think you can. I think there's also an item, like I think it's like a bone or a club or something that can boost the power of its moves. He's got a Gorgeist, which can be any size, and those sizes vary in its stats, but it's a very physically defensive ghost and grass type Pokemon. Usually runs Leech Seed, Will-O-Wisp, Power Whip, Shadow Sneak for priority, stuff like that. And last but not least, he has a Leavanny, which is his web setter. Also gets a bit of setup as well, I think. Pretty fast as well. Decent attack stat, can really put in work if it's not prepped for, but it is exceptionally frail. Looking at this type matchup, he doesn't have too many flying or fire resists. And his steel resists aren't that great either, but he does have loads of hazard removal and in a decent amount of ways to set them as well. As you can see, Klefki gets spikes, Weezing gets T-spikes, Empoleon gets rocks, Leavanny gets webs, so he's pretty much got one of everything. But I feel like we have a really good matchup here. I've got two sets that I think can potentially sweep him, depending on how we go, but I guess we'll just jump right into it. So, kicking things off, we have Lesbian Bug and Mega Scizor. We are running max attack, a bit of speed to outspeed the Alolan Marowak at max speed, and the rest in HP. Adamant Nature, Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, Knockoff, and Roost. Running the calcs, if we can get Empoleon down to 50% and not get paralyzed, then we can sweep his team with Mega Scizor. Bullet Punch at +2 can really do a lot of damage to Latios, Klefki, Weezing, Frosmoth, Absol, Lopunny. Bullet Punch on its own one-hit KOs Darmanitan, which is great, and Leavanny, and then Knockoff can handle Gorgeist and Marowak, as well as Empoleon. This thing can really, really dent his team hard. Even if it doesn't sweep, it'll definitely break it to a point where our next Pokemon can sweep it. But it's also really good for revenge killing a lot of his Pokemon. We definitely have to use it aggressively, and we've got the Roost for the longevity. I was going to run Superpower, but I decided to run Roost instead, because I think it's a lot, I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility to be able to get Empoleon down to 50% and then therefore be able to sweep him. I definitely think we can do that, and I really hope we can. And this next Pokemon should help us out with that. Dogs Piss on Me, our Volcanion. We're running a bit of Fling Heat. We're running Flame Charge, Flamethrower, and Steam Eruption. Enough speed to outspeed Adamant Megalopunny after a Flame Charge. Max Special Attack, Rest in Attack. We're running Fling with the TR. I'm not sure what the R is for, because I actually haven't played Sword and Shield. But it's Leaf Storm, and what Fling does with TRs is the power of Fling is based on the power of the TR. This TR is Leaf Storm, so this Fling is doing 130 super effective damage, and that is going straight onto the Latios. I only found out about this tech like a few days ago. I prepped like in advance earlier, like sometime last week, but this can kill the Latios after a Flame Charge or after a Flamethrower. It's really his best switch into Volcanion as well, because as you can see, the rest of his Pokemon don't want to handle it. Klefki doesn't want to take a fire move, neither does Empoleon or Weezing. Weezing doesn't want to take a Steam Eruption either. Frosmoth can't take a Flamethrower, Absol can't take a Flamethrower, Galarian Darmanitan can't take a Flamethrower, Marowak can't take a Steam Eruption, you know. His team gets absolutely bodied by Volcanion. I might actually swap Flamethrower to Fire Blast just for the maximum damage output, but I like the accuracy. But we'll go with Fire Blast anyway, just for a bit of fun. But Flame Charge, Fling, Fire Blast, Steam Eruption, Fling for the Latios because it resists our dual stab. So he might see it coming, but I don't think he will. Hopefully he doesn't, and we can get the Fling off. If he does see it coming and he switches out predicting it, then we are gonna have some troubles. But we've got other ways to take that thing down. Next up, we have Redemption, our Mienshao with Choice Scarf Regenerator. Excuse me. Close Combat, U-turn, Knockoff, Poison Jab. Oh, jeez, I'm on fire. We're running enough speed to outspeed, I believe, Galarian Darmanitan. Yeah, that sounds about right. Galarian Darmanitan, max attack and rest in HP. Close Combat, U-turn, Knockoff, Poison Jab. I would have run Reckless High Jump Kick, but he's got 2 Ghost types, and I don't want to try the prediction games. but this Scarfer is really, really good here. The only thing that can't revenge kill is Scarfaladios, which could come, considering that I've brought Specs Neuburn every time that thing's shown up. But we'll see what happens. But this thing can revenge kill and really dent the Lopunny as well as the Darmanitan. It also knockoff really hurts him, and he doesn't actually have a Wish Passer. He doesn't have the most reliable recovery on almost any of his mons actually, which is definitely something we can, definitely something great. It means we can chip them down with U-turn and really mess them up. Which is definitely something we want, because we want to chip them down as much as we can in order to sweep with Sizzle or to sweep with Volcanion. Either one of them can do the trick here. Next up we have Rotom Wash, Wash Go Burr, our Will-O-Wisp, Defog, Hydro Pump and Volt Switch with leftovers. Pretty standard stuff. Very physically defensive set in order to take on the Darmanitan and to take on the Lopunny. Both of those things are exceptionally problematic, and Rotom can handle both of them. If he's running Work Up Lopunny, that could be a bit more problematic, but we can just let something go down and go into Mienshao. That works a treat. Next up we've got Hacked with Wings out Togekiss. We're running Wish Protect, Air Slash and Aura Sphere. Very mixed defensive, but this thing is mostly our Latios switch in, or at least one of them anyway. It also can kind of come in on the Lopunny as well. Rotom can also come in on the Marowak, I forgot to mention that. But this is really to keep the team healthy, to keep Rotom healthy in particular with Wish Passing. Because if he keeps getting shots off with Darmanitan and Lopunny, then Rotom is not going to last, so I need to make sure that that thing lasts as long as it can. This thing also can come in on Lopunny instead of Rotom to save Rotom a job, and it can do a fair bit back. Also, we're running Aura Sphere as coverage for the Empoleon. The Empoleon might come in on us. It can also kind of hit the Klefki as well, but Empoleon can come in on us, and because I'd expect that thing to come in on us more than Klefki, so Aura Sphere is there for that. And last but not least, we have No Mew. Leftovers with Stealth Rock, Soft Boiled, Earth Power and Dazzling Gleam. As I mentioned earlier, we want to get as much chip off on them as possible, so we are bringing Stealth Rocks this week. He has a lot of defoggers, but that's okay. If we can keep rocks on the field for as long as we can, then that will be very beneficial. We've got Soft Boiled for recovery, but Earth Power and Dazzling Gleam really hurt a lot of the mons that I expect to show up. Lopunny doesn't want to take a Dazzling Gleam, and neither does Latios. That Weezing is probably going to be physically defensive to come in on the Mega Scizor. He doesn't have the best Mega Scizor answers, so Earth Power will do a lot to it. It also does a fair bit to Klefki and Empoleon. All in all, Diglett Earth Power really hurts him a lot. We're not running much special attack, but it can still put in a fair bit of work, and Soft Boiled for recovery, as I mentioned earlier, is really going to keep us alive and saves Togekiss a job. Also part of why we have Roost on Scizor and Regenerator on Mienshao. We're really going to need the recovery here because we want to play the long game. We want to make sure we outlast him because he doesn't have recovery. So so the game plan is to try and outlast him to a point where Scizor or Volcanion can come in, set up and sweep. That's what we're kind of going for here. We're trying to go for a 4-1 start to the season. Halfway through the season, being 4-1 is going to be massive for us going into the second half. Our schedule's not too bad. It's not too hard, but it's not too easy. There's never a week off, and even though Scamp is only 2-2 right now, this is definitely no exception to that. We at the time I'm recording this, we play in about 26 hours, so I'm very much looking forward to that, and I will see you guys in the battle in just a few short moments. Welcome back everyone to EDL Season 3 Week 5 I think. I forget. We are taking on Scamp. We're about to get right into the battle, so let's send the challenge and we'll see what he's got. We've got our calcs up, we've got our matchup. Okay, so he brought the Klefki, the Lopunny, the Darmanitan, the Latios, the Empoleon, and the Weezing. No Marowak is fantastic. No Frostmoth is pretty cool either. But this is pretty much the 6 I anticipated. Okay. Have fun. Okay. This is stressful, to say the least. Okay, so what do we lead with? What do we lead with? The Empoleon sprite is being a bit weird, but what do we lead with? I think we lead with Mienshao. He could lead with Lopunny, he could lead with Darmanitan, he could lead with Klefki though. If he leads with Klefki, that could be a bit of a problem, but I think we lead with Mienshao. So let's do that. Let's lead with Mienshao and see how we go. If he goes Klefki, we can probably go into Mew. We can soak up the paralysis and really we can synchronize it back onto him. If he goes into Latios, okay, so he goes into Lopunny, that's okay. We can go for a U-turn, just straight off the bat. I don't think he's staying in here. He might think we're in a focus, because that is a thing, and I have brought it in the past. In a focus, Mienshao against Lopunny. So I'm going to U-turn. I don't think he stays in. I don't think he stays in at all. Okay. This is nerve-wracking. This is very nerve-wracking. Scamp is a very good player, and I'm very terrified to face off against him. Whew. Okay. So I don't think he stays in here. So yeah, he doesn't stay in. So we get the U-turn off. Okay, so he's neutralizing gas, which is good. We know that now. Now we can go hard into Mew, and we can really put some pressure on him early. He's not Black Sludge, so he's probably got a berry. So let's go for a Stealth Rock. Let's set up rocks. I think we've got the opportunity to set up rocks here, so we should do it. If he stays in, he's probably Pitaya Berry, which is definitely something to note. Or he could be Babiri Berry, actually. He could be Babiri Berry. That is definitely a possibility. Let me see. Scizor versus Weezing Gala. Does Babiri Berry... is it... Yeah, so it actually is weak to so it definitely could be Babiri Berry. So that is something to watch out for. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that. But I think we go for the rocks here. We get up hazards. Okay, so we go for the hazards, and he just goes straight for a Sludge Bomb. We get poisoned. That's not good. Let's go for a soft boiled. Let's get that damage back. Let's get that HP back. That poison's annoying, but we can sponge Thunder Waves now from the Klefki, which is not too bad. So it goes into Empoleon, and that is a heavy duty boots Empoleon. Let's go for an Earth Power. He probably goes for a Defog here, or he sets up his own rocks. So let's go for an Earth Power. Oh, he is leftovers. I just didn't see it because I skipped ahead. Okay, let's check out that damage on Empoleon. Earth Power did 28%, so that is especially defensive. That's almost a standard special defensive Empoleon set, which means in order to sweep, if we get to +2, 70 to 83%. Okay, so let's go into Rotom. I think Rotom's a pretty safe play here. We can defog these rocks away, which is really good for Volcanion coming in. Volcanion actually has a really good time here, especially if we can get to +2, although that Klefki does probably have Thunder Wave, so we need to keep an eye out for that. So going to Rotom, he goes for a knockoff, so he gets rid of our leftovers. That's okay, we can go for a Defog. We can just go for a Defog, or we can actually go for a Will-O-Wisp and nullify his leftovers, so that way he just takes damage each turn. I think a Will-O-Wisp might just be the good play here. Or we can also get it off on Weezing or a Klefki coming in. None of his offensive threats want to take a burn as well, which is really good. Oh, I'm shaking a lot, if you can tell. You can tell by my voice. My voice is a bit shaky. I'm just, generally speaking, I'm just shaking right now. Actually, he probably won't stay in. Thinking about it again, he probably won't stay in, so I think we go for a Defog. Although Defiant... Oh, it could be Defiant. Yeah, he is Defiant. Shit. I didn't think about that. Okay, let's go for a Volt Switch. Get some damage off on this thing. We need to get some damage off. Okay, so his Stealth Rock, Toxic knock off, so his last move is probably Scald, which is really good to know. We're also faster than it. So he's probably also not running speed investment. Okay, so we get the Volt Switch off. I think we can go back into mute. Yeah, so he just goes back for the. He just goes for the Stealth Rock again. Let's go for another. Let's go for another Earth Power. I'm pretty fine with letting Mew go down, to be honest. We're getting big damage off on it, which is really, really good for us. He's doing a lot with knockoff. Let's try and soft boil. Let's see if we can get that longevity. Rotom Wash is in a bit of trouble here, so we definitely need to watch out for that. We're not heavy duty boots, so we really need to get in and get rid of rocks on his field. I think we go for Dazzling Gleam now. He might predict the switch. He might predict the Earth Power and go into Latios. So I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, actually, we'll soft boil, because even if he goes into Latios, we're still fine. I can't play this wrong. I gotta get this right. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? Okay, so he just goes to the Lopunny. That's cool. I'm gonna go for another soft boiled. Okay, so he just Mega Evolves and he goes for the Fake Out. That's okay. We probably go down to this turn. I think we just let Mew go down. We couldn't get rocks up, but that's fine. We just need to keep rocks off the field for Volcanion. So I'm fine with letting Mew go down here. Jeez, we didn't really play that too well, did we? But that's okay. We can just let Mew go down as he just goes for a U-turn for momentum. I don't think the crit really mattered. Let's see what he goes into. Let's see. What's he going to go into? Okay, so he goes into Klefki. This is a good opportunity to go into Volcanion, and we can get a Flame Charge off. He's probably going to go for a Thunder Wave, but that's okay. He might also just switch. I don't think he really wants to take the damage. If he goes into Latios, that can be really good for us, and we can get off a Fling. Although I don't know if we really take a hit. He could be Scarf, which could definitely be very worrying. But I really do think the Dimanatan is Scarfed. I do think the Dimanatan is Scarfed. Okay, what's he gonna do here? Just goes for the Thunder Wave, that's okay. We get the Flame Charge off. Alright, let's go for another one. Let's get our speed back up. Okay. That Thunder Wave is really annoying because we don't really have the best switches into it. Okay, so he's just Spike Stacking. Oh, we get paralyzed, that's no good. He's Spike Stacking, that's okay because we can go into Rotom and we can defog that away. We might even be able to go for a sweep here, although I don't think we can really kill the Lopunny. We can definitely put in a lot of work with Volcanion, which is kind of what it's designed to do. So let's try and get another Flame Charge off. I really hope he just stays in and keeps Spike Stacking. That would just be fantastic. Okay. If we got that other Flame Charge off, we would be in so much better shape. Because we'd be at +3, we'd be at +3 if we don't get paralyzed here. So we still have that boost, which is really good. Okay, we're kind of struggling, but it's okay. Just that Klefki is really, really annoying. So, but that Wheezing is definitely something to watch out for. Okay, so he's just going to stay in and keep Spike Stacking. That's perfect. It means we can get our speed up. Although we could just go into Lopunny after. How much do we take from Lopunny? Volcanion from Lopunny Mega. We actually live a high jump kick. Although that's Jolly. Although he has to run Jolly because of Nova. Okay. We should be able to live a high jump kick. And we could kill back with Steam Eruption. We should be able to live a high jump kick or a close combat. So let's just go for... Oh no, because he's got Fake Out as well. Oh shit, no, I thought I didn't, I thought I cancelled. Okay, so what's he gonna do? What's he got? He's gotta have dual stab. Let's go into... This is not good. Let's go into Togekiss. Yeah, this is not good at all. Okay, gotta think straight. What the hell am I doing? I'm not thinking properly. I'm not thinking properly. We need to clear those hazards because that's really, really annoying. So we need to be able to get into Rotom Wash and Defog. So if we can get into Togekiss, we can wish up and we can definitely heal ourselves back up. Alright, so he goes for the close combat. That's okay. Now we can wish. We can wish and go into Rotom. Okay, that Klefki is really annoying. I really should have prepped more for it. Okay, so he's close combat. So his last move is probably going to be return, or it could be it could actually be. Oh, okay, we're going to go into Rotom here. It could actually be Fire Punch or Ice Punch. So, but close combat, definitely scary. That Lopunny is definitely scary. We need to keep Rotom healthy, so we're going to go into Rotom. And he just roars us out. But we get to go into Scizor. That won't work in our favor. Okay, so he's going to go for a... Okay, so he can't actually touch me. He can't actually touch me. So let's go for a knockoff. Yeah, we get rid of the Weezing's Babiri Berry. Oh, he's Choice Specs. That works too. Wait, so Scizor to Weezing Gala. Knockoff did... Okay, I forgot to Mega, so that I gotta include that in the calc. Okay, so Knockoff did 18% when it wasn't a Mega, so it's not bulky at all. It could be bulky. Okay, so if he's neutral, he could be max HP. No, he couldn't be. 18%. I think he's got to be running some HP. He's got to be running some HP. So Bullet Punch, even though it's neutralizing gas, so that would get rid of Technician. Okay, so Bullet Punch would do that much with a regular Scizor and 55% with a Mega Scizor. He's probably got Flamethrower. So we're going to go into Volcanion. Yeah, he does. Okay, so he reveals Volcanion. He reveals Flamethrower. He's probably just going to knock me out now, which is fine. Okay. Now what do we do? I think we go into Mienshao and we click Poison Jab. That could be a play. Okay, I'm actually not sure what to do. I think we have to go into Rotom and we have to click Defog. I think that's what we got to do. Oh no, because we don't really have a switch in after that, which is really problematic. Let's go into Mienshao. How much are we doing with Mienshao? With Poison Jab. That's not a lot at all. But it gets it in range, but then I don't have a Revenge Kill. I don't really have a Lopunny switch in. Although I don't think he's got Fire Punch. He could, but I don't think he does. So let's go into Mienshao and let's go for the Poison Jab. I'm glad we knocked off those Specs. That Specs could have actually been really problematic. Although it is offensive still, which is something to watch out for. He could go into Empoleon. If he goes into Empoleon, I go into Rotom and I defog. Oh no, I could go back into Scizor. Okay, so that should put him in Bullet Punch range. That should put him in bullet punch range. Up to 55%. Oh, not quite. I think we got to go for it. I think we have to go for it. It's really our only play. No! No! It's not black sludge. I think we lose now. Yeah, we lose. We lose now. Let's just try not to lose 6-0. Okay, we get rid of that. Now he's gonna go into dumb and 10 and clean up. Oh, that roll was in our favor. That roll was in our favor. Okay, let's see what he's gonna do. Let's go for a protect. Just go for the fake out, that's okay. Let's wish up. We gotta heal up, we gotta stay healthy. That roll was in our favor. That roll was in our favor. Okay, let's go for protect. Let's go for protect. We're not completely out of this. I think we still got a decent chance with Rotom and Kiss. I didn't know Raw bypassed. Why does Raw bypass protect? Why does Raw bypass protect? What the fuck? That's so annoying. The roll was in our favor. That was very unlucky. And with the paralyze as well on the Volcanion earlier, could have had the Klefki gone. I don't care that you get the boosts. I really don't. Let's go for a Volt Switch. We gotta stay healthy. We gotta keep Rotom alive. We can't keep it in for too long. Okay. Let's go for the Aura Sphere. Let's chip it down a bit. Or we can go for the Air Slash and try and go for a few flinches. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go for the flinches. We gotta play for the flinch. There we go. Okay, we can calc that damage, see when we get it into okay, so that did about that. So Aura Sphere is going to do about 30%, around about 30%. Let's keep going. We need this in our favor. We need this to work. Of course. Let's go for the Aura Sphere now. That should do the trick. Of course. The rolls are not in our favor. The rolls are not in our favor. Anyways, it's we lose now. There's not much we can really do about it. I guess we just try and Willow to not even. Oh, those rolls were not in our favor at all. Oh, the rolls were not in our favor at all. I mean, he can be cocky that the wheezing set worked. I mean, it lived on a roll. That's really the short and long of it. Like that roll, I'm pretty confident that roll was in our favor. But it is what it is. it's only a minor setback. We're still doing pretty well this season, so let's keep our heads up. We're still 3-2, which is still really good. So we'll move on into next week with our heads up high, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Pokemon related content. See you guys.